This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The leadership of the country should just look at value addition, investing that back to the people, improve on education, improve on development in the country, and perhaps that label, because I hate it, label that poorest country. It should not be there in this time. But let's go to the proverb that we get from this beautiful country. An elephant does not limp when walking on thorns. How would you interpret it?
An elephant does not
Limp when it's walking on thorns.
Well, many things. The first thing is good to unpack it. Okay, forget about Central African Republic
Yes.
and whatever.
Yeah.
An elephant.
Yes.
It's strong. Doesn't fear many things. Therefore, thorns are a threat. Okay, it would affect anything. But if you are strong and determined, small things, small pains will not influence you.
Yeah.
Come back to Central African Republic. They should be an elephant.
Yes.
They should definitely be not feeling the small pains of all the wars and whatever. They should be an elephant. So I would say that the most important thing for you, if you are strong, if you are energetic, if you are objective, is to ignore the small pains and the gains will be there.
You know, they usually say, kelele za chura.
Haizuii ng'ombe kunywa maji.
Ama tembo kunywa maji.
Ng'ombe ama ni tembo.
Tembo, hiyo ng'ombe ni yako. Yeah, but welcome to the conversation. We talk about devolution, and you take stock of the Nadco agenda, where it was one of the key items that there is need for protection of devolution in the country. Nadco reports deadline is tomorrow, right? Is tomorrow, yes. Is tomorrow. And as you talk about it, the past 1 year, have we seen any improvement on how the counties have been managed? And I'm talking from the aspect of the national government and disbursement of funds to the counties. Why do I take that to be important? Because with the faster disbursement of funds to the counties, then the counties are able to absorb all these funds in time, be able to do all the projects that they want to do and report back. Because the fear has been that the counties are unable to absorb the monies for development because the disbursement was late. Have we seen any movement, any shift? Plus, you could also give us your experience when you're governor.
Well, you've asked like 10 questions in one. But, again, unpack it. If you look at the background of NADCO, okay, the National Dialogue Committee. Just look at the evolution. It was kind of like a peace treaty, okay, between the Kenya Kwanza government and the opposition, the Azimio La Kwanza government. There were riots, there was after the election. So this was a country trying to come together to start talking. That's why it's a national dialogue. And if you look at where the issue of strengthening and protecting devolution came from, the late Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, late Raila Amolo Odinga, was very, very passionate about devolution. I think he played a very great role even in the evolution of the 2010 Constitution. And at that point in time, there were some fears that the national government was kind of encroaching into some of the functions that were provided for in Schedule 4 that otherwise are supposed to be undertaken by the county government. There was a lot of fear at that point, and the opposition was fearing that you have a strong national government that is tending to retard the movement towards a more devolved society. That was one. The second one, if you can remember, was that through that process, or even related or not related to that process, there was a lot of delay on disbursement of funds. And if you ask the CS Treasury, the CS Treasury was giving excuses like, we have to pay schools first, we have to pay the national debt, we have to say, and the counties were like number 6 in the priority. And therefore there were delays of up to 3, 4, 5 months of disbursement. And therefore, as these issues, 7 or so issues of NADCO were coming up, it was the thinking of the opposition then that we need to strengthen and protect devolution. First of all, protect it. That's why there's protection. Protect it from encroachment by the national government, and also strengthen it so that you not only get the resources, but you also effectively administer the resources and there is oversight on it. So if you stop at that point and ask, so what has happened since November of 2023 up to today? I mean, a few things have happened. One of it is that you may say, despite the problem, we are still paying the foreign debt. We are still paying schools. We are paying, but there has been a delay, a reduction in delay on the amount of disbursements, on the disbursements going to the counties. There was an explicit action. I don't know what the delay currently is, but I don't think it's more than 3 months. It used to be 5 months. It could be 2 months. And therefore, there was an improvement on that. The second one was obviously the encroachment by the national government to some of the county functions. Yes, we do see that. We do see, like, for instance, issues such as housing, okay?
Markets?
We see markets. But whether that is good or bad, we need to unpack that. You know, because even during our time, when I was Governor Kiambu, I got 5 markets from the national government, the Ministry of Housing. 5 markets. And we thought 5 markets are too many. We were so excited. Today I hear the same county, there is probably 29 markets. So whether that is good or bad, I don't know. Okay? We were excited with 5 markets. We got Kirigiti Stadium from the national government.
Yeah.
Is that good or bad? So what you need to do is to ask, is national government really encroaching into the functions of the county government, or is it a dialogue? Is it a coordination effort that is lacking between the 2 levels of government? And I would say it is actually a coordination effort that is lacking. It is more in terms of starting to behave like who is greater here? Is it governor, or is it the CS, or is it what? But at the end of the day, those services are necessary to the people. So I must say, I don't think you would say there is much that has happened. Yes, we have been. There has been an attempt to strengthen the county assemblies. I think August of 2025, we had the County Public Finance Act amended. Yes. In order to provide the resources directly to the county assembly so that they can be independent. Whether or not that has increased their effectiveness in providing oversight is a different thing altogether. So I must say there are some changes that we have noted, but overall, I don't think the intention and the spirit of that action within the NADCO report has been achieved.
Well, Governor, that's quite elaborate, and thank you for that. And sometimes I feel like we lose the conversation when we focus purely on the resources, because it becomes an excuse for people to say we don't have enough resources, that's why we're not able to. That's why we are not able to implement. So I would want to take it back to what you've mentioned, the Schedule 4. The spirit of the Constitution was we devolve our government so that you're able to serve equitably across the country. And when the projection was coming, it was projected that yes, counties will receive 15% minimum. That was the sunrise clause, because they needed to do the initial infrastructure, the setup of the administrative of the whole county. But now, 13 years into it, a lot of counties, like your home county, which is my home county, will brag off in the last 3 years having grown our on-source revenue by 2 billion. But you still hear hiccups on development. You look at the expenditure vis-a-vis the resources that have come from the government, the resources from the national government, the on-source revenue, it is not commensurate with the development that you see. Number 2, yes, we asked 10 questions in one. Having been a governor, we have 5 counties in the northeastern region that have been receiving funds from the national government, and also they've had their own on-source revenue. When it comes to oversight, we don't hear much from the senators who should be oversighting the county. We don't see development in those counties. And also we do not see the national government suspending operations of those, for example, the northeastern counties because of misappropriation of the funds. What is that any other different from corruption? Because for me, corruption is simply doing what the law does not say. Would you see it as corruption? And how do we intervene now so that we can have these stopgaps finalized and we have a functional, devolved system moving forward?
Again, 10 questions in one.
Yes.
Let's look at what the funds were intended to do. Under Article 203 of the Constitution, that talks about a minimum of 15%.
Right.
Now, the original thinking was that some of these counties are marginalized, like the counties we have talked about in the northern part of the country. And therefore, Turkana and others, they had not received any inch of tarmac.
Yes.
So these counties were marginalized. And the intention was that these funds would go towards, really the Wanjiko at that level. But it was also emphasized that a large proportion of those resources would go to development. Now, if you look at what happened after 2013 and up to today, just look at the structure of the budget across these counties. About 50%, and if you're lucky, sometimes 45, but also 60% goes to salaries. Okay? 25% goes to administrative and operation. That leaves you, if you're lucky, 25%. We have had instances where some counties do not even have 10% of development. Okay? Now, with that kind of budget, structure, you do not expect much development to take place. Because then you come to the problem of procurement. The fact that you have allocated 25% of the budget to development does not necessarily mean you are going to actually incur the 25%. The absorption of those funds is also very limited. So you start to see that, yes, devolution came in, but did it come in so that we pay salaries? Did it come in so that we pay operation and administration? It came in because we wanted roads, we wanted hospitals, we wanted water, and we wanted all those services. Then on the other hand, you have leaders, governors in those counties, and what is their interest? Is their interest to incur transformational change in the society? And I keep on giving this example. Given two options, one, invest in a water project, like, the county you are talking about is water scarce. I don't know whether you know that.
I do.
Kiambu County is water scarce. Only 35% of the population is connected to water. I mean, it's a county with a lot of water flowing from their badeas and flowing from wherever. So you ask yourself, given the option of investing in water or investing in provision of effective health services, or putting up a mulikamuizi, or providing people with seeds or food or pigs or chicks, the governor would opt to put a mulikamuizi. Why? Because from a distance, you can see that mulikamuizi was put in by governor. If you have water, people connected to water, you cannot see it from a mountaintop and say all those water connections are. So you have a situation where even prioritizing development and the development that leads to transformation is not there. It is tokenism, a lack of transformation. But why does that happen? You cannot expect to harvest apples from a knowledge tree. It is the population that actually erects these people. Some of them have never been managers. How, if you have not been a manager, how are you expected to manage 15 billion shillings in 1 year? Okay, the easiest is, if you have been maybe a senator or a member of parliament, is to do things that people can see and are happy about. Let me comment on one issue that also is a misnomer and a big problem in this country, and we have to be very, very careful.
Right.
I've seen recently governors being praised by their ability to add or increase own source revenue. I want to tell you that own source revenue is like a double-edged sword. It cuts on both sides.
Right.
The more you try to increase own source revenue, which is good because you become more independent and you raise more money, then you are taxing the same people that you are. I say taxing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because own source revenue, it is supposed to be levies.
Yes.
It is a payment to a service.
Right.
If you give me the permit for my shop, it is a service that you have given me because you are providing garbage collection and all that and all the others. Just look at the situation of the county you are talking about. Right now, in order to increase own source revenue and claim more credit next time,
Yes.
they want to charge 2 shillings on every liter of milk that is produced so that you can increase own source revenue.
Oh.
But tell me, how is a dairy farmer going to benefit from the 2 shillings that you charge? You're not providing me extension, not to Githogoli and other places. So what I'm saying is we have a convoluted kind of objective.
Right.
And we as Kenyans are praising the wrong things. Why are we praising when you are overtaxing your people, when you are taxing farmers? Why don't you go and provide AI instead of providing seed or whatever? So it is the fact that, yes, you have resources, in summary, but these resources are not appropriated in the right way.
Right.
They are not appropriated to cause transformation or change so that you can start to see the rural area being vibrant and whatever. They are just being put there because you want to do PR, public relations are being seen to be delivering or not delivering.
Yeah.
Your Excellency, there is one other major economic and governance challenge that the Nadco report has attempted to address, which is on pending bills.
Yeah.
And inaugural governors like yourself have been accused of really being the people behind this accumulation. Now, at least talking for county governments and not national government, because they also have pending bills. And there have been lots of attempts to try and address this pending bills issue. A committee has been put in place that was led by the former Auditor General, Dr. Eduardo Uko. We have seen the Controller of Budget also making some proposals and recommendations on, transfer of resources to counties. But suppliers and, people who've done work with government continue to lose, some even their lives and property through auctioneering. What is this one thing that really we must do to deal with pending bills?
It's very unfortunate that this country has been talking about pending bills for, as far as you can remember. And I don't want to say 2 wrongs make 1 right. The national government itself, since this government came in, I think there has been like 3 or 4 efforts of trying to reconcile, reconcile and audit and whatever. And in the process, many people have lost their lives. It is important probably to pause and ask yourself, how did the issue of pending bills come in within the first lot of governors and the second lot of governors? Pending bills normally come in when you budget more than you can be able to achieve. Because, if you, for instance, project that your own source revenue is going to double, that you put in the budget, you are allowed to spend because it is in the budget. But when the year comes to an end, you realize that you only achieved half of it. So it was money that was intended, that was not achieved, but in any case, the services were provided. I think it was wrong because also you have a problem with subsequent governors. Like, for instance, and there is a correlation between the number of governors there has been in a county and the level of pending bills. Because every governor, if the first governor leaves and the second governor comes in, the tendency is to say, let me concentrate on my projects. Okay, those who are his projects or her projects. And therefore, if I have to concentrate on paying pending bills, then I will not be seen to be working. Now, the tendency, therefore, has been in the process, you incur your own pending bills. And there has been an accumulation. That's why I have said the more governors you have had in a country, in a county like ours, I was the 3rd governor. We are having now the 4th governor. I think I'll go in as the 5th governor. Okay, so the problem has always been that. But let me talk about what I did when I came in. First of all, we had a big problem because it was COVID. Half of my time, remember, I was half-term. I was not even one term. Half of our time, which was the 2.5 years, 1.5 years or so, we were fighting with COVID, and business stopped and everything. So we were disrupted completely. We diverted money into other places. So we did not match the payment of pending bills as much as we would have wished. But then one thing that we did was, when I came in, I decided we are not starting any new project. And I concentrated on completing the old projects, which is a tendency, therefore, of people saying, Nyoro do not have his own projects. He completed Kabogo's project or Waititi's project, or whatever it is. I think we have to get to a point where we have to agree that a certain proportion of revenue coming to the county must go towards meeting the pending bills. And we have to enforce that. Because if we don't, as we talk, so we need to do that. And then we need to stop the pipe, of incurring more and more pending bills. So we have to stop, first of all, the aspect of incurring more pending bills. And two, we have to come up with a policy from the national government, the county government. Because a lot of times we tend to think about county governments, but we don't look at the national government. I know the president has been talking about paying up to $1 billion, pending bills. I don't know how much has been paid, but that would be a good effort. There should be a very, very clear policy. And then when a new governor comes, I think it should be made clear that you are taking over an existing county. You don't have to behave like this county was created yesterday. So you carry the liabilities that were there, and you continue with the assets that are existing.
I want to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue with this conversation, because then one asked the question of the NADCO report, did we really need individuals to sit down to discuss about the counties, because the Constitution addresses itself to everything that NADCO sought to cure? But all that conversation after this short commercial break. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Checks and balances that do exist. We talked about Senate in overseeing counties, right? But I start from the basic level. The people who are in charge of overseeing counties, governors to start with, are the MCAs. Are they doing their job before it gets to the Senate?
What I would say is that I think there was need, first of all, as we said, NADCO was a peace treaty. I think the country needed it because we were coming from pulling in different directions, and because of expectation, whether or not anything has come out of it, but because of expectations, at least things cooled down a bit. And like we said, devolution at that point was appearing that like it was being threatened. And therefore, it was important to come in and say, strengthen and protect devolution. Whether or not all the issues within NADCO were necessary for 10 people to sit for, was it 2 months, and come up with all of that, that's a different issue altogether. I think it will be determined by the output and the outcome. But I think at that point in time, people needed to come together and probably, discuss, and in the process of discussing, probably see that both of them are human beings and they share quite a bit in common. But the other thing to note is that just like other provisions within the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, human right consideration, good governance, corruption, all of those issues are reflected in the Constitution, and you don't need to talk about them because all you need to do is to implement them. However, I think our politics is such that there needs to be activism. People need to be reminded. People need to be given deadlines. So I would say it was necessary because there were fears at that point in time. But remember also, we are talking about accountability on the part of the counties. And that is why in the evolution of that term, it was protect against the encroachment maybe by the national government, but it was also strengthened. The strengthening part was coming in by ensuring that the governors become accountable, that institutions that are established within the devolution are accountable and they are working together. So there was the aspect of governors themselves. There was the aspect of the governors working or the counties working with the national government. I want to tell you from experience that counties that have had success in devolution are counties that work closely with the national government. And I can tell you that without, fear of contradiction. Because you see, if you look at the amount of money going to the county, and we have talked about it, we have talked about even the structure and how much is it for development, and then look at the amount of money that could come from the national government, it could be some of the functions that have not been devolved, because part of NADCO or requirement was that there are still some functions at the Schedule 4 that are supposed to have been devolved but have not been devolved. They are still being run by the national government, whether you are talking about health or like KEMSA, issue of KEMSA, whether you are talking about water, all these, Adi Water Works, Tana Adi Water Works, and all of that. There are those issues that have not been devolved. So it was necessary, to do that. So there's a lot of money coming from the national government going into the counties. Notwithstanding the conditional grants that are coming from donors and whatever. Therefore, it was important to establish that rapport and the relationship and the working together. Because like I have told you, in my own experience, I got 5 markets. And we were so, you could have seen us opening those markets. Today, I hear there are 29 markets. And who is the beneficiary of those markets? It's a terrains like today, and you are in Gatundu, and you are selling outside. So a market, irrespective of who brought it, it's good. Okay? So it was also necessary to ensure that the counties are working with the national government, that the counties are working with the assemblies. We have a problem and a weakness, I think, with the county assemblies. Yes, we can get money going direct to them so that they don't depend on governors, because then the governors, what they would do is they would delay dispersing the monies to the county assemblies, and therefore county assemblies will not be very effective. Then on the other hand, you would make sure that they don't have money, so they would be coming for you for handouts and whatever. But I think we have some county assemblies where the Public Accounts Committee and Public Investment Committees are very strong. Do you know that when governors appear in Senate, they appear alongside the Public Accounts Committee? So when questions are being asked about internal controls, about procurement, about all of that by auditors, because the questions are asked by auditors in front of the senators, and then the governors answer. The Public Accounts Committee is next, to the governor. So the question would be, why would you wait to hear a question being asked by the Senate, and you had the power to hold the governor accountable? So we need to build capacity, I think, if you ask me, for the county assemblies so that they can hold the governors accountable. A project should not get to the implementation stage if it has not passed through the normal procurement process. The county assembly should be able to halt and say, look, this was not supposed to be direct procurement. This was supposed to be a tender, and we are not going to allow this going on. If it goes on, record that we have disagreed with it, it's going to be an audit query. So those are the kind of things that we need to do in order to enhance this capacity. Now, in Nadco, we also had something that was called Senate Oversight Fund.
Yes.
I exactly do not understand what that means, because in any case, Senate is supposed to oversight.
Yes.
But I think it was coming from, the members of parliament have NGCDF. The women has NGAF. The MCAs were asking for county
Ward
fund. So how about us? Should we? So I do not see. But really, I think we have to remind the Senate that the role of oversight does not come at PAC or PIC.
Yes.
It is the role of the senator to understand what is happening in the county and work more closely with the county assembly so that they are all reading from the same page.
I think they actually asked, they were saying that it will help them to deal with the logistical issues, especially when they go for the Senate machinanis. Of course, they have a budget within the Senate voted, and then two was also to establish local offices. Like MPs have their local constituency office, so that it also facilitates oversight issues, particularly with engagement with the citizens, among others. But Your Excellency,
the question on that, because surely, I mean, we use logics. Is it that the senators are less effective today because they don't have offices, or they don't have? Is there a diagnosis that shows that this is the problem? We may be fixing the wrong problem.
Yeah.
Maybe the problem lies elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is why we need to be diagnostic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to follow up on, you said that counties that are seemingly doing something that can be seen are those counties that are working closely with the national government. If you look at Article 6 of the Constitution, it actually acknowledges that governments are independent but interdependent.
Interdependent, yes.
Now, what we have seen is a trend. For example, that governors have to pay a visit to the head of state, that MCS have to visit the house on the hill for certain things to be done.
To get 24 markets.
Yeah, exactly. To, for example, get an increase in markets, stadia, etc. Do you think that is the spirit of Article 6 of the Constitution, and what would you therefore imagine, having served as a governor? What is therefore the role of institutions such as the summit that brings together the Council of Governors or governors together with the head of state? He chairs the summit. The IBEC, that is chaired by the Deputy President, brings together all devolution partners, including governors, chaired by the Deputy President. And so that when conversations happen at that level, you really don't have to visit State House for certain things for devolution to work or for services to be delivered in your county.
No, I agree with you. And when I said that there's a correlation between the affinity to work with the national government and development, I meant exactly that. Like, for instance, and I'm giving you an example. I got Kirigiti Stadium from President Uhuru Kenyatta. We linked Gatondo Hospital to Kenyatta University Referral Hospital. And we were getting resources directly. We got resources to put up Githogori Hospital from the national government. Okay? So I think you have to remember that we are living in a world where robbing it's part of it.
Politics,
and going to State House, I think we went to State House when we were governors, but we had gone there to discuss, among others, how to deal with COVID, because COVID was such a threat. But remember also that a governor and county assembly are both managers and also they are politicians. They belong to a particular party. So I'm not saying that it kind of undermines the aspect of interdependency and all of that. But I'm saying, even in this country, we've had discussions of saying that certain area does not get development, another area is getting development. I think this is a reality of where we live. But what I want to say is that it would be good for, if I am the president and I bring a project to your county, and I don't see an appreciation of that project, because even the president is a political animal. I mean, he would want to. If I don't see an appreciation, I think the affinity of bringing another project would be, this is human. but nevertheless, I think, and you can check on that. You tend to see more projects, particularly, let me tell you, there are 3 areas where, whether you like it or not as governor, you will not be able to do on your own. And you have seen it here in Nairobi. One is garbage collection. No, let me not call it garbage collection. Let me call it garbage management.
Yes.
Waste management.
Because waste management. Because right now we are still talking about garbage trucks. instead of us talking about converting garbage into energy.
Recycling.
That is a huge investment. And a county will not be able to do that. They can do that through PPP, public-private partnerships, with the help of the national government. So if you want to involve, if you are Nairobi, if you are Mombasa, if you are Kiambu, if you are Nakuru, the big counties with a lot of garbage, if you want to move that, you have to be able to be talking much more closely inside and outside IBEC, inside and outside Summit, inside and outside, all of that, to be able to bring in that. Now, the other big project that you cannot be able to run is water. You, as county, you can be able to do a few boreholes here and there. But if you look like, for instance, at Kiambu, where you are talking about maybe putting up a huge dam in Kenari, that will be able to provide water to Rimuru, Rari, Kiambu, Kabete, Kiama. That's a huge investment. You have to be able to entice and talk well to the national government so that they can be able to, put in that, and that will contribute. You can do the reticulation, but somebody else has done the investment. So all in all I'm saying is that this coordination is good. One thing that we need to do as a country, we need to establish a better working coordination mechanism between the national government and the county. I'll tell you why. A national government has their own targets. For instance, we have our own targets of how much maize we need to produce as a country, how much coffee we need to produce as a country, how much beef. Yes. Now, those three enterprises there is a comparative advantage in each of these counties. So where beef is produced is Kajiado, okay? Where dairy is produced is probably Githunguri. Where maize is produced is Uasin Gishu. As a nation, we need to establish those national targets and say, how do we achieve this? We cascade that down to the counties and say, for us, Uasin Gishu is there for maize production. You can do everything else, but maize production, we want to work with you so that we meet the target of producing so much. That is coordination, and that needs to be worked out.
Governor, sometimes the joy of engaging with a former governor is that they speak from both inside and outside.
I hope the inside and outside is okay. Okay.
So what I'm picking is that we seem to prioritize political expediency over addressing the real issues. We have the resources, we have the funds, we have the laws. There is no shortage on provisions of regulations and law. But the personnel, they have a mismatch of priorities. Because you say rightly so, that a governor will want to do what is popular. A president will want to do what is popular over what is right. But that happens at the expense of the citizen. Today, any county, and I dare say any county, does not have sufficient classrooms, basic, where education was meant to be an equalizer from the spirit of our constitution. Today, there is no county that has adequately equipped hospitals. That was meant to be a safeguard. And if you manage our health system, we will have saved a lot of budget, and then we can divert that to other priority, other activities. So, when I look at the mismatch between the personnel and the interest of the people, one, I raise the question of when will the people know how important it is to have the right person in office? Because then they'll even have the power to demand because everybody has a responsibility. When you're already in office, you have to serve. But the people who get you into a serving position, and nowadays we are revising, they are not leaders, they are servants, so that they know they are totally accountable responsible to the people they serve. How do we have this mismatch resolved once and for all? Because the moment we continue like this, we're going to continue having a crisis in education, in health. Right now it is raining. You can expect continuous wet, I call it wet drought, where it is raining and people don't have enough food. So that is the mismatch I'm seeking to understand. Like maybe not a conversation for now, but moving forward, how do we capacity build even the electorate to know that as you go for a governor, as you go for an MCA who is supposed to oversight the Senate, the member of parliament, you must be knowing this is their mandate and this is what you should expect from them. I think that's a conversation we'd like to have.
I think it is. And, again, if you look at where we started,
right.
After 2010 Constitution, and there was the issue, there was a bit of discussion on whether governors should be elected or appointed, you remember? And obviously, the dictates of good governance and the constitutionality is that you have them elected.
Yeah.
But we are coming from a point where we were electing people because they were making the most noise, okay? They probably will have the biggest crowd following you. They make good jokes and all of that.
Yes.
And it was not more, because even CDF was not there, remember?
Yes.
It came in during Kibaki's time. It was not more in terms of your capacity as a manager. There were no resources at that point to manage. So we came from a point where it did not matter your managerial capacity, your foresight, your connections, because we have also seen governors who go out and talk to development partners. They twins, cities.
Yes.
They go out. They are, they represent themselves. We are coming from a point where that did not exist, and therefore we borrowed governors from a crowd that was existing, that it should be the guy who talks, most, is the guy who, all of those kind of things.
Yeah.
And we never pause to say it must be a manager. It must be somebody who has managed resources. It must be somebody who manages a great workforce,
right,
and, work with them and make them. So that is where we are coming from. But I think we are getting to a point where people will start to realize, like I said, that you cannot get apples from an orange tree.
Okay.
People will have to start realizing that.
Yes.
And I have said time and time again that our electorate should first of all pause and say, what is good for us as a county, say Kiambu County?
Right.
What do we need? Okay, 60% of our population lives in urban centers. 40% of them are rural, and probably 30% produces cash crops. Okay, so we are looking for somebody who is going to manage, sewage, okay, water, street lighting, construction, because 60% of our population lives. So they start to say so. They lay the requirements, the job requirements like any company would do.
Yes.
And then they go out and look for an employee who would implement. So they will listen to the employees and say, as far as we are concerned, and this is what we want done, I think this is the person who can do it for us. We have to get to that point.
Yes.
And it will come in through civic education. Because, you see, when we get to the election, it becomes emotional.
Yes.
It becomes that I'm sympathizing with so-and-so. It becomes... We have given some MCAs jobs who are called Shati Moja. That means they were giving them a job.
Yes.
Okay, because alikuwa Shati Moja, alikuwa na punda. So we have to know this particular MCA, we are giving you the responsibility because we want this and that done. I think we are getting there. And I think in the next 17 or so months, a lot is going to be putting the ball back to the constituents and asking them, what exactly do you want? And who do you think would be the best person? Forget about sympathizing with my situation that I've been jobless for the last 3 months, 3 years. Forget about that. What is good for you? And then you start from there.
Your Excellency, just to follow up on that, and then very clearly articulated, if you look at the political architecture of our country, the place of political parties really sometimes disenfranchise the voter. So that, for instance, they can really want to have, as an example, Governor Nyoro to come in for a second term. But that might not be the preference of the most populous political party in the region. So despite all those nice things that you are saying, you are articulate, you know what needs to be done, the people want you. But in some corners of this country, that pre-election or the nomination, the political party nomination, is indeed the election. What must we therefore do? And of course, the Constitution allows that you can run as an independent candidate. And we have seen, again, in this country, one of those governors who was elected as an independent was impeached by popular, MCAs who came in through a political party. So how do we balance all these mixes as we head towards the next election?
In 30 seconds, Governor, if you can.
I think we are getting to a level where issues about party are just vehicles.
Yes.
They're just vehicles. And a vehicle will take you to a particular destination. I think we are getting to a point where people will have to establish the destination and then ask, that is my destination, which vehicle will take me there? Rather than, let me get into this vehicle, it will take me to my destination. That has been the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you are talking about TNA, whether you are talking about Jubilee, whether you are talking about UDA, it's D-Day, we have to get to that point. What is good for us? How do we get there?
How do we get there? And I think that is a good place to end the conversation, because then we take it back to Mwananchi. When we talk about solutions that do exist, we talk about garbage collection. How then can everybody work together with the national government to ensure that even that garbage is a resource for us who can generate energy? Circular economy is something that can happen. Former Governor, Kiambu County, Dr. James Nyoro. Asante sana at exactly 9 a.m. Good morning.
Thank you.
This is the Situation Room.